A wealthy couple lounges comfortably on their designer sofa, the rain murmuring softly against the expensive glass walls of their mansion. Their son is outside camping in the yard, and the two of them begin to flirt, whisper, and get handsy right there in the living room, thinking they're completely alone. But they aren't. Just inches beneath them. Literally inches. An entire family is crammed under the coffee table, holding their breath, faces pressed against the floor, terrified to even twitch. One wrong move, one sneeze, one shift of weight, and their entire operation collapses like a house of cards. This is an Oscar-winning psychological thriller, dark comedy drama movie, where two families living under the same roof are actually living in different universes. The story begins in a cramped semi-basement apartment in a lower neighborhood of Seoul. A small window sits just above ground level, letting in the smell of the streets and the smoke from passing fumigation trucks. Inside the room, clothes hang on drying racks, insects crawl on the walls, and the family of four navigates around whatever small space they have. Ki-woo and Ki-young sit at the table folding pizza boxes for a local shop. Their father, Ki-taek, is unemployed, searching for any job he can get. Their mother, Chung-suk, manages the home and joins in folding boxes so they can earn enough for food. Even the Wi-Fi they use isn't theirs. Ki-woo holds his phone in the air, walking slowly around the room until he finds a weak signal coming from a nearby cafe. This is their everyday routine, making do with whatever scraps of opportunity they can find. One afternoon, their friend Min-hyuk arrives. He brings a heavy scholar's stone as a gift, telling them it symbolizes great wealth. The Kims thank him, though they don't fully understand why he brought it. But then Min reveals his real reason for visiting. He's leaving to study abroad, and he wants Ki-woo to take over his tutoring job for a wealthy family's daughter. Ki-woo hesitates, reminding Min that he's not in university. Min insists that the wealthy mother doesn't check credentials carefully and that Ki-woo simply needs a convincing document. Ki-young immediately takes the task, using her design skills to forge a polished university certificate. The next day, Ki-woo travels to the Park family's home. The house stands behind a tall gate, surrounded by manicured gardens, stone pathways, and modern architecture. The entrance is monitored by a sophisticated intercom. When he rings the bell, the housekeeper, Moon Gwang, appears and leads him up the private driveway. Inside, the home is spacious, filled with glass walls, minimalistic furniture, and polished surfaces. Sunlight pours in naturally, and art pieces decorate the rooms. Ki-woo notices right away that the place feels like a different world. Mrs. Park interviews him while observing his first lesson. Her daughter, Dahae, is shy at first but quickly becomes comfortable as Ki-woo guides her through the English passages. Ki-woo's confidence wins Mrs. Park over immediately, and she offers him the job on the spot. After the lesson, Mrs. Park mentions her younger son, Da-song, who has behavioral difficulties. She believes he's artistically gifted but needs the right mentor. Ki-woo subtly suggests someone he knows, a specialist named Jessica. Ki-young arrives at the Park house the next day. She walks in with complete confidence, carrying herself like a real art therapist. Mrs. Park watches closely as Ki-young interacts with Da-song. Ki-young observes his drawings, asking precise questions while maintaining a calm, serious tone. Her performance convinces Mrs. Park instantly. Ki-young is hired at an even higher salary than her brother. Meanwhile, their relationship becomes tense when Dahae expresses her interest in him. She becomes protective of Ki-woo's attention, especially when her mother praises Jessica. Despite the situation, Ki-woo kisses Dahae, beginning a quiet relationship that he doesn't yet know how to control. The Kim siblings decide to bring their father into the household staff. Ki-young lays the groundwork by planting her underwear in the family driver's car. Later, Mr. Park finds the undergarment during a ride home and becomes uncomfortable. Quietly, he discusses it with Mrs. Park, who jumps to conclusions and decides the driver has been misusing the family vehicle. With a hint of shame and concern for her children, she fires him the next day. When she asks Jessica if she knows a reliable replacement, Kyung simply gives the name of her uncle's driver, leading to Ki-taek. Ki-taek arrives for a test drive with Mr. Park. During the drive, Mr. Park observes his composure, safety, and driving style. Ki-taek's quiet politeness and careful behavior impress him. Without much further questioning, Mr. Park hires him. With 3 family members now employed, the Kim's plan continues smoothly, but they still need to replace the housekeeper, Moon Gwang. Moon Gwang has been with the house since its original architect lived there. She knows every corner and behaves with pride in her position. Removing her requires careful planning. Ki-woo notices her severe allergy to peaches. The Kim siblings scrape peach fuzz into small bags and release the dust toward her whenever she walks by. Moon Gwang begins coughing and sneezing uncontrollably. To finalize the trick, Ki-taek stages a moment where he secretly photographs Moon Gwang holding a tissue with red stains. Stains added using a small packet of hot sauce. He shows Mrs. Park the image and claims he overheard her talking about tuberculosis. The mention of such an illness terrifies Mrs. Park. When Moon Gwang coughs again in her presence, Mrs. Park decides she must let her go. Ki-taek hands Mr. Park a fabricated card for a top-tier housekeeper recommendation agency. Mrs. Park calls and speaks to Ki-young, who pretends to be an agency representative. Chung-suk is introduced as a highly trained, reliable housekeeper. Mrs. Park hires her after a short trial, bringing the entire Kim family into the Park household under 4 separate identities. Life becomes easier for the Kims. They enjoy the comforts of the luxury home, their salaries, and the respect they receive from the Parks. Even though the Parks have no idea who they really are. There's only one problem. Desong notices something odd. He comments that all 4 new workers smell the same. Mrs. Park brushes it off, but the remark unsettles the Kims. One weekend, Desong insists on camping in the backyard to test his survival skills. The Parks decide to make a family trip out of it. They leave the house entirely in the Kims' hands, with Chung-suk instructed to keep the house tidy in case it rains. As soon as the Parks leave, the Kims relax fully. They sit on the expensive furniture, drink the Parks' whiskey, and enjoy the view of the garden. Ki-woo explores Dahai's room and reads her diary, imagining a future where he officially dates her. For the first time, they feel like the house belongs to them. Then the doorbell rings. Moon Gwang appears on the security camera, soaked from the storm. She asks desperately to come inside, claiming she left something important in the basement. Chung-suk reluctantly lets her in. Moon Gwang rushes downstairs and pushes against a large built-in shelf. With effort, she reveals a secret bunker hidden behind it. Inside is her husband, Gun Sae, who has been living underground for years to hide from loan sharks. Moon Gwang has been keeping him alive with hidden food deliveries. She begs Chung-suk to keep quiet, kneeling in front of her in desperation. But Chung-suk refuses and threatens to expose her. At that moment, the rest of the Kims slip on the stairs and tumble into view, revealing themselves completely. Moon Gwang quickly takes out her phone and shows the recording she made of the 4 Kims addressing each other as family earlier. She threatens to send it to the Parks immediately. Forced into submission, the Kims kneel as Moon Gwang and her husband mock them. A struggle erupts, and the Kims manage to overpower the couple. During the fight, Moon Gwang is pushed down the stairs, hitting her head hard. Before they can decide what to do, the phone rings. Mrs. Park says the storm ruined the camping trip, and the family is only 8 minutes away. The moment the call ends, the entire Kim family panics. Chung-suk rushes to the kitchen, boiling noodles and slicing the expensive Hanwoo beef as fast as she can. Ki-taek drags the injured Moon Gwang back into the secret bunker, ties her husband up again, and hides all signs of the struggle before pushing the shelf door shut and clearing every trace of their party. Ki-woo sprints to Dahai's room to return her diary, diving under the bed just seconds before the Parks walk inside. The front door opens. Mrs. Park steps in, exhausted and irritated by the rain. none of them realizing the Kims are still scattered around the house, hiding in different corners. Chung-suk presents the Ramdon right on time, acting like everything is normal, while the rest of her family stays frozen, just out of sight. Desong camps outside in his tent, and the Park parents decide to sleep on the couch to keep an eye on him through the glass doors. As the rain continues falling, the living room lights dim. Mr. and Mrs. Park lie together, relaxing under a blanket. They begin speaking softly about their day, their frustrations, and their hopes. Their conversation gradually shifts into something more intimate. Small touches, whispered comments, and affectionate gestures. The moment grows increasingly private, getting handsy kissing and enjoying their moments, yet the Kims cannot escape. They stay frozen beneath the table, listening to every word, aware they are inches away from being exposed. Mrs. Park rests her head on her husband's shoulder, and the two continue their intimate conversation, believing the house is entirely empty. Their voices overlap with the sound of the storm outside. Minutes pass in suffocating silence. Only when the Parks finally drift toward sleep do the Kims begin planning their escape. When they return to their neighborhood, they find the entire district flooded from the storm. Sewage water fills their basement home. Their belongings float around the room. The scholar's stone lies in the water like a dead weight. The family is forced to spend the night in an evacuation center gym with hundreds of other displaced residents. Despite everything, Mrs. Park calls them the next morning, asking them to come early to help with a birthday party for Desong. Ki-woo decides to take the scholar's stone with him. The Kims arrive at the mansion, trying to keep their emotions hidden. Mrs. Park assigns tasks. Ki-taek must drive guests, Ki-young must supervise Desong's party art project, Ki-woo should join Dahai later, and Chung-suk manages the food. Eventually, Ki-woo walks toward the basement with the stone. He believes he should confront Gun Sae directly. Down in the bunker, Ki-woo finds Gun Sae free from his restraints. Without warning, Gun Sae attacks. Gun Sae then grabs a kitchen knife and climbs the stairs toward the garden. Outside, the party is in full swing with guests eating and laughing. Suddenly, Gun Sae appears and attacks Ki-young, stabbing her in the chest. Desong collapses from shock after seeing Gun Sae's bloodied face. Chung-suk fights Gun Sae and kills him using a barbecue skewer. Mr. Park orders Ki-taek to drive them to the hospital immediately. As he reaches for the keys lying under Gun Sae's body, he recoils from the smell. Ki-taek sees this. In that moment, with the chaos surrounding him and his daughter bleeding out, something inside Ki-taek breaks. He grabs the knife and kills Mr. Park. Ki-woo survives brain surgery but suffers lasting neurological damage, causing uncontrollable laughter. Ki-young dies from her injury. Chung-suk and Ki-woo attend their funeral. The courts convict Ki-taek of murder, but he disappears. The authorities assume he fled. Ki-woo eventually revisits the Park house. A new family lives there now. From outside, he notices the lights flicker in a pattern. He realizes someone inside is using Morse code. He stays up night after night trying to decode it, until he finally understands. It's his father. Ki-taek escaped into the bunker and has been living there secretly, just as Gun Sae once did. Ki-woo writes a letter describing his dream, to earn enough money to one day buy the house, open the basement door, and bring his father back into the world. The film ends on this hopeful vision, a dream of reunion that may never come true.